People often associate the skeleton with death. However, the skeletal system is a living, vital, and vibrant organ system that primarily consists of bone, cartilage, and ligaments. The skeletal system provides the framework that supports the body and contains the soft organs. Bony structures, such as the skull, ribs, and vertebra, provide protection to delicate structures. Bones serve as biological levers that muscles attach to so that motion may occur. Blood cells are formed within the cavities of certain bones. Bone serves as a reservoir for minerals that are released into the bloodstream as ions. The release of alkaline salts from bone help maintain the body's acid-base balance. And finally, heavy metals and other substances may be stored in bones and then slowly leached out so as not to become toxic. The principle of complementarity is quite evident when exploring the skeletal system. The durable and hard bone obviously provides support and protection. The more compliant cartilage provides protection yet allows for movement or provides for cushioning. Skeletal cartilage is primarily made up of water, which accounts for its ability to spring back to its original shape after being compressed or deformed. Cartilage is avascular and aneural. It is surrounded by a dense connective tissue membrane called the perichondrium, which resists outward expansion when the cartilage is compressed. Blood vessels course through the perichondrium and provide for the diffusion of nutrients. Microscopically, cartilage presents with chondrocytes residing in small cavities known as lacunae, a jelly-like ground substance, and fibers. There are three types of cartilage. Hyaline cartilage contains only collagen fibers. It is the most abundant cartilage and provides support with flexibility and resiliency. Hyaline cartilage includes articular cartilage. Hyaline cartilage includes articular cartilage that covers the ends of bones at the joint. Costal cartilage connects the ribs to the sternum. Laryngeal cartilages form the voice box. Tracheal and bronchial cartilage reinforce the respiratory pathways, and nasal cartilages support the external nose. Elastic cartilage contains a high percentage of elastic fibers made up of the protein elastin. It stands up well to repeated bending. Elastic cartilage is located in only two places, the external ear and the epiglottis. Fibrocartilage appears as rows of chondrocytes alternating with thick collagen fibers. It is highly compressible and has great tensile strength. Fibrocartilage exists in sites that are subject to heavy pressure and stretch. Fibrocartilage includes the intervertebral discs and the menisci of the knee. Bones come in many sizes. The principle of complementarity states that structure denotes function. Therefore, the unique size, shape, and structures of various bones correspond to its required function. Though bones can be classified differently, they all have a stereotypical anatomical structure. The outer surface of the bone, to the naked eye, appears smooth and solid. The outer layer of the bone is referred to as compact bone. Internally, bone takes on a honeycombed appearance. This bone is called spongy, trabecular, or cancellous bone. The spikes of bone that form spongy bone are known as trabeculae. These trabeculae align precisely along lines of stress, providing the bone enhanced ability to provide support without greatly increasing its weight. Bones may be classified by their shapes. Long bones are considerably longer than they are wide. A long bone consists of a shaft, known as the diaphysis, and two broadened ends, known as the epiphysis. Long bones are constructed primarily of compact bone with substantial spongy bone at its ends. Most bones of the limbs are long bones. Short bones are roughly cube-like. They contain mostly spongy bone with a thin layer of compact bone. The bones of the wrist and ankle are short bones. Flat bones are thin, flattened, and usually a bit curved or domed shaped. They have two roughly parallel compact bone surfaces with a layer of spongy bone between. This is called a diploe. The sternum, skull bones, and ribs are examples of flat bones and are specialized to provide protection to internal organs. Irregular bones do not fit either classification of long or flat. They include the vertebrae, pelvic, and scapular bones. Their irregular shape is important to allow for many muscles and ligaments to attach at multiple angles. So all bones are covered and protected by a double-layered membrane called the periosteum. The outer fibrous layer of the periosteum is dense, irregular connective tissue. Its inner layer, the layer that abuts the bone surface, is primarily made of primitive stem cells that give rise to bone-forming cells known as osteoblasts. The periosteum is well supplied with nerve fibers, lymphatic and blood vessels, which enter the bone of the shaft via a nutrient foramen. The periosteum is secured to the bone by tufts of collagen fibers known as Sharpie's fibers that extend from the fibrous layer into the bone matrix. The inner surface of the bone is covered by a delicate connective tissue called the endosteum. It contains osteogenic cells that differentiate into different bone cells. The diaphysis of long bones present as a long cylinder surrounded by compact bone. The cavity of this cylinder is known as the medullary cavity. The medullary cavity contains bone marrow, the tissue responsible for the production of most blood cells. Bone marrow is also present between the trabeculae of spongy bone. Bone marrow can be classified as red marrow and yellow marrow. Red bone marrow participates in blood formation. In infants, virtually all marrow is red. However, as humans develop into adults, red marrow is gradually infiltrated by fat cells and is ultimately transformed into non-blood cell producing yellow bone marrow. In adults, red marrow remains in the heads of the femur and humerus and between the trabeculae of flat and irregular bones.